Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. In this series we're checking in on how some of the older MMOs that we all played and loved when we were younger are doing. And today we're checking out the in 2010 released MMORPG Dragon Nest. Like many others, when Dragon Nest was first introduced in the West, I immediately jumped on board as it looked pretty amazing for an MMO back then. The combat was really good and free-flowing, unlike most other MMOs around that time. However, the game never really clicked for me and I never got that far into it. So even though I did play a little bit in the past, this is basically me experiencing the game again for the first time, and I won't be covering any endgame related features or systems. I'm just a returning player looking to relive some fun memories. Dragon Nest is actually no longer available in Europe, so I had to use a VPN to get in. There were some massive screw-ups with an EU publisher that caused the game to be closed down for our region, but I'll cover that later in the video. We're creating a character and man, there sure are a lot more classes than I remember there being. Also, the graphics have not really held up very well over the years, but hey, that's also part of the charm, isn't it? We're going to go with an old school warrior this time around. The combat and movement feel pretty good when playing this character. You unlock new skills as you level up, which aren't too impressive or crazy visually, but hey, this is only the first job advancement, there's 3 more to go through, and it does feel good to use them. Some new attacks that you learn are also passives that can be activated by either using your left or right mouse button or when you're dashing and then attacking, stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of how Black Desert skills work, funny enough. Progression in this game is dungeon based and super easy. Just complete the main story. The game makes that very clear to not bother with side quests because doing the main story is the fastest way to level up. Duly noted, I will ignore all side quests, thank you game. So the first dungeon was fine and dandy, but then this happened. I found some beginner quests, including the most cringe-inducing quest I have ever witnessed in any MMO that I've ever played. Sometimes games want to introduce players to emotes and chatting, you know, get the whole MMO vibe going by having them say something like hello in chat, and so does Dragon Nest. But to complete this quest you have to type, and I'm not joking, God Game Dragon Nest in the chat to complete it. That physically hurt to type. I'll explain more why that hurt so much later. Power creep can also be a crazy thing in MMOs, so usually there are certain catch-up mechanics, and Dragon Nest tackles this issue in probably the worst way possible. After typing God Game Dragon Nest in the chat, you'll get this ring, and this newbie ring will give you 50,000 attack and magic attack and a crazy amount of defense and HP. Standing here I realized that Dragon Nest is kinda boring at the moment. This ring single-handedly sucked out all the fun and excitement that you'll have while battling anywhere. You'll become so freakishly overpowered that every monster and boss monster will die from just one hit from your regular attacks. This made the game extremely boring. I was just going through the motions and rushing through the story, one-shotting everything, while also ignoring everything else the game has to offer because it literally told me I don't need that to level up, I don't need those side quests, I'm only here for the main story. Besides the ring, you'll also get a free cash-up set that gives even more stats, as well as some items that I didn't really know the use for. I usually found those heroes, blood, sweat and fear thingies in dungeons, but I just got a couple of thousand of them from this tutorial quest, so I didn't really even bother opening any more chests in dungeons. Imagine opening a chest to get one of those things and you have like 20,000 in your inventory from this tutorial quest. Everything got either regular attack to death or a boot to the face, boot to the face, boot to the face. Be gone, thought. I even let some bosses hit me just to see if they did any damage, but not really. Yo, YouTube, I'm sorry if this video is a bit negative. I mostly play MapleStory. Just so you know, my bar of quality is already pretty low, you know, as an avid MapleStory player. But God Game Dragon Nest is in such a bad state at the moment that I wonder if anyone is actually still working on this game. Within 5 minutes of gameplay, entire sections of dialogue were untranslated Korean. Buttons and text boxes are almost always completely misaligned. Almost all cutscenes are broken, resulting in characters, parts of characters, or key items just disappearing or flashing or whatever. This scene might have looked epic if the characters actually showed them. They're supposed to be there, but for some reason they're invisible. Also, there's this half a torso fighting right now. What the heck is this? Buttons are also misaligned. My game froze twice. I couldn't move because I couldn't open any UI windows. The quest arrows were pointing in the wrong way. Also, this is just my personal complaint, but I really hate it in Dragon Nest. Whenever you want to open something, your mouse snaps to a button, which is super annoying. I'm always looking for my mouse now. As a heavily abused MapleStory player, I can live with a lot of things, like I have a really high tolerance to bullshit, but there was just so many issues within the first 2 hours of gameplay. Actually, funny enough, even before I launched the game, the email you get to verify your account has a link to an older non-working website. That should have been a red flag already, I guess. So how did Dragon Nest get here? While I was online, I only found about 3 players that were in the same area as I was, probably because I was still in a lower level region, but looking at the amount of forum posts and social interaction, it becomes pretty clear that Dragon Dragon Saga probably still has more active players than Dragon Nest. The reason why Dragon Nest isn't published anymore in Europe is also a series of unfortunate events. In 2016, Dragon Nest Europe, then published by Shanda Games, went under maintenance. No biggie, but there were some issues, probably a server catching fire or something. No worries though, we have backups, right? Right? Well, no. Turns out that the script that was supposed to make backups was running, but no one checked if the script actually did what it was supposed to do, creating backups, which it didn't. Thankfully there was still a backup from before the script broke, a backup from 2014, meaning that Dragon Nest Europe players lost 2 years worth of progression. And worse, even all purchase data was lost, so all items purchased within those last 2 years were deleted off the records due to the rollback. Another publisher called Cherry Credits took over after that happened, but their contract was no longer renewed in 2019, causing Dragon Nest Europe to officially close down. And my playthrough I only got to level 18, while the max level right now is level 90 I believe. The game is also still getting updated with new content and minor events, but being so low level I didn't really experience anything of that. The amount of bugs and super overpowered items that you get so early on really ruined the fun for me. Honestly, Dragon Nest is in such a bad shape, it might be time to put her down, boys. Did you or do you play Dragon Nest yourself? And what do you think of the state that the game is in right now? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know which other game you would like me to cover. And as always, many thanks to our members for making these videos possible. Thanks to Niels de Coninck, Raar maar waar, Sebastian Hanoy, FLX, Ryalias, Terry Kim, Vareese, Mora, Wiley, Historycanon, BackSpaceOTI, Saffronyx, Lorenzo, BG Extremes, Anwar NHI, Frank Bouquit, Ziggy Deer, Flidiot, Beamer WT, Knifesu, Chen125, Cloudfix, Gustus Rodriguez, Froggy, Glakeson, Brandon Camp, Varma, Trevor, Michael Machaka, Ratius, Justin Vale, Silvio Nato, Stevie Zhang, Afterlord_MS, Heopan, ceemak, Striker Elk, Martin Panzik, Niu, Taiwan Pan, Victor Sundstrom, Radicals the Alien, Riser RU, Gummy Bullet, Lucky Beats, Lovebird, Rev Soli, Sirtito655, Mathias Simonsson, Mr. and Mark, Galando Belavia, I'm disappointed, my name is Coppersan and I'm super cute XOXO, PC Game Life, Yo Mama, Crazy Ladette, Dante Victory, Stanislaus Sumo Vegas, level 241, Paladin Reboot, Caveman, oh yeah, Crazy Ladette, The Passenger, and Gabriel Eck. Thank you all so much for watching, stay safe and happy gaming!
Not at all. You're the one who's getting sloppy.
How tragic to say goodbye after such a short war.
You should pay more attention.
At last, the power